In the bustling heart of Miami's Little Havana, where the rhythm of life pulses with vibrant energy and the aroma of Cuban coffee lingers in the air, a silent, chilling mystery unfolded just days before Christmas. The setting was as ordinary as could be. A Dollar Tree store on Southwest 8th Street, a place where everyday necessities are acquired for $1.25. Yet, within its fluorescent-lit confines, a brilliant life would inexplicably reach its end, leaving behind a wake of questions that no dollar amount could ever answer. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. The date was Saturday, December 13th. As the day drew to a close and the last shoppers sifted through discounted wares, a 32-year-old woman entered the store. She was Dr. Helen Massiell Garay Sanchez, a visitor to Miami from her home country of Nicaragua. She moved with a distinct purpose, bypassing the usual shopping aisles. Her destination was not the checkout lane, but rather a different, far more restricted section of the store, the employee-only stockroom at the back. Surveillance footage, which would later become a crucial piece of the puzzle, captured her lone figure as she walked deliberately past the rows of merchandise and disappeared through a door clearly marked for staff. The clock ticked towards closing time. The last customers eventually left, and the store was secured for the night. Employees performed their routines, securing entrances and exits, yet one person remained within its walls, unseen and unaccounted for. Dr. Sanchez was, by all accounts, a woman of extraordinary intellect and profound dedication. Back in Nicaragua, she was a renowned anesthesiologist, a rare and vital specialist in her field. Her work was specifically focused on congenital heart disease, meaning her daily life involved the intricate, high-stakes task of sedating and monitoring infants and young children undergoing life-saving cardiac surgeries. Her hands, which could precisely manage the delicate balance of life in the operating room, now lay still in the most unexpected of places. She had come to Miami to visit her father, a joyous trip that was meant to culminate in her return to Nicaragua on December 15th, just 2 days after she was last seen alive. The early hours of Sunday, December 14th, brought the horrific discovery. An employee, arriving to open the store for the day, found a woman's body inside the large walk-in freezer located in that same employee-only area. The call to emergency services was stark and unforgettable, relayed over police scanners as complainant found a naked female in the cooler of the store. The immediate shock and confusion reverberated through the arriving officers. A naked woman in a freezer in a Dollar Tree. The scene defied logic, raising immediate alarms. How could a person, particularly one of Dr. Sanchez's professional standing, end up in such a horrifying and isolated circumstance? The initial questions were raw, visceral. Was this a crime? Was she trapped? The chilling reality was that Dr. Helen Massiell Garay Sanchez had been found, but the story of how she got there, and why, was only just beginning to unfold from the frozen silence of that Miami morning. The investigation was launched immediately, but the initial findings would soon send the case in an unexpected direction, challenging the most obvious assumptions about the tragedy. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. The discovery of Dr. Helen Massiell Garay Sanchez's body inside the Dollar Tree freezer immediately prompted a full-scale police response. Detectives converged on the scene, securing the perimeter, interviewing the distraught employee who made the discovery, and meticulously beginning the process of gathering evidence. The first priority was identification. The victim was soon confirmed to be the 32-year-old physician from Nicaragua, a fact that only deepened the mystery surrounding her presence and ultimate demise in such an unlikely location. Miami-Dade Police Department took the lead, initiating a thorough investigation that involved reviewing surveillance footage, canvassing the area for potential witnesses, and beginning the complex task of processing the scene where she was found. A critical detail that emerged early in the investigation, and one that proved particularly unsettling, was the fact that Dr. Sanchez was found unclothed. This aspect, often associated with violent crime in public perception, initially fueled intense speculation and concern among both investigators and the public. However, experienced forensic pathologists and death investigators are familiar with a less sensational, yet equally tragic physiological phenomenon known as paradoxical undressing. This occurs in cases of severe hypothermia, where the body's thermoregulation system fails catastrophically. As the body temperature plummets below a critical threshold, the temperature hovered around 32 degrees Celsius, nearly 90 degrees Fahrenheit, the constricted peripheral blood vessels, which had been attempting to conserve core body heat, suddenly and paradoxically dilate. This rush of warm blood to the skin creates a sensation of intense burning, leading the disoriented and hypothermic individual to strip off their clothes, believing they are overheating. This desperate act, of course, only accelerates the rate of heat loss and hastens death. Beyond paradoxical undressing, another related behavior sometimes observed in hypothermia victims is called terminal burrowing. In this state of severe confusion, individuals may attempt to crawl into confined spaces, as if seeking shelter or warmth, which ironically leads them deeper into the cold and isolation. The walk-in freezer, a confined and isolated space within the employee area, could potentially align with such a scenario, though investigators were careful to consider all possibilities. Despite the initial shocking details, the Miami-Dade Police Department soon released a statement that surprised many. They did not suspect foul play in Dr. Sanchez's death. This declaration, made relatively early in the investigation, suggested that their preliminary findings, including the review of the surveillance footage showing her entering alone and no signs of forced entry or struggle, pointed away from a homicide. Instead, the case was categorized as an unclassified death. This classification indicates that while the cause of death is not yet definitively determined, there is no immediate evidence pointing to criminal intent. The medical examiner's office began the painstaking process of the autopsy, knowing that a full toxicological analysis would be crucial to understanding her state of mind and body in her final hours. The absence of a suspect, however, did not diminish the profound questions that lingered. If not foul play, then what chain of events could lead a brilliant doctor into such a desolate end? The definitive answer remained hidden within the frozen data awaiting analysis. The complexity of the human body and mind under extreme stress, combined with the sterile environment of a commercial freezer, presented a unique challenge to the investigators, whose conclusions would hinge on more than just the physical evidence. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. While the forensic investigation meticulously sought answers within the cold confines of the Dollar Tree, the news of Dr. Helen Massiell Garay Sanchez's death reverberated far beyond Miami, striking hardest in her home country of Nicaragua. Here, she was not merely a tragic headline but a vital, cherished member of her community and an indispensable figure in the medical world. Dr. Sanchez was an anesthesiologist, a profession demanding immense precision and unwavering calm, particularly in her chosen specialization, congenital heart disease. In a country where advanced medical resources are often scarce, her expertise was invaluable. She spent her days in operating rooms, administering anesthesia to infants and young children, delicately balancing their fragile lives during complex cardiac surgeries. Her work brought hope and healing to countless families, marking her as a beacon of medical excellence and compassion. Beyond her formidable professional achievements, Helen was a devoted mother to 2 children who remained in Nicaragua. They were, by all accounts, the absolute center of her world. Her strength, warmth, and unwavering love for her family were defining aspects of her character, remembered fondly by all who knew her. Her trip to Miami was not just for professional reasons or a casual vacation. It was specifically planned to visit her father, a joyous reunion that highlighted the deeply personal reasons for her being so far from home. In one of her last audio messages to her friend, sent just days before her death on December 9th, she spoke of her father, remarking that he reminded her of her friend because he too used coconut oil and she could smell the familiar scent on him. These small, intimate details paint a picture of a woman deeply connected to her loved ones, eagerly anticipating her return. The depth of her relationships was perhaps best captured by her friend, Andrea Tamaro Campos, who shared a poignant tribute on Facebook. Andrea revealed a cherished, quirky nickname they shared since their university days, "Dear Diary." "We didn't call ourselves Helen or Andrea," Andrea wrote in Spanish. "We called ourselves Dear Diary." This intimate moniker symbolized the profound trust and closeness between them, a bond forged during their student days when Helen pursued medicine and Andrea studied law. Their last memories together were of a very nice trip to Lyon on November 29th, an adventure filled with shared laughter, supermarket runs for sangria, visits to museums, because, as Helen insisted, we are cultured women who must always visit museums, and dancing until the early hours. Andrea's raw grief was palpable in her post, mourning the nights of wine, dancing, theater, dinners, and the unfulfilled promise of a ping-pong game. Helen was supposed to return to Nicaragua on December 15th, just hours after her body was discovered. The stark contrast between Dr. Sanchez's vibrant, impactful life and her desolate end fueled an outpouring of grief and a determination from her family and friends to honor her legacy. A GoFundMe page was quickly established, not only to raise funds for repatriation, the heartbreaking process of bringing her body home to Nicaragua for a proper funeral, but also to support her 2 young children. The page described her passing as a tragic accident, reflecting the family's initial processing of the incomprehensible loss. They wished for her to receive a final resting place surrounded by loved ones, a stark reminder that even in an age of swift global travel, the distance between Miami and Nicaragua, between life and death, can be immeasurable. This global outpouring of support highlighted the profound impact she had, as her family sought not just answers, but peace for a life tragically cut short. The lingering questions about her final moments, however, still cast a long shadow over the narrative, leaving many to wonder if there was more to her presence in that restricted area than met the eye. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. Despite the Miami-Dade Police Department's repeated assurances that foul play was not suspected in Dr. Helen Massiell Garay Sanchez's death, the sheer strangeness of the circumstances continued to prompt a myriad of questions from the public, her grieving loved ones, and even seasoned forensic experts. The central enigma remained: why did a highly intelligent, specialized physician walk purposefully into a restricted employee-only area and ultimately become trapped? New details from the surveillance footage have provided a chilling piece of the puzzle. Police confirmed that on that Saturday night, Helen did not browse the aisles or act like a typical customer. She walked directly toward the back of the store with a level of intent that suggests she was either looking for something specific or was in the grip of a profound internal crisis. The investigation naturally delved into the operational aspects of the Dollar Tree freezer itself. Commercial walk-in freezers are generally equipped with internal release mechanisms, a safety requirement mandated by OSHA to prevent the very tragedy that occurred here. Investigators are now tasked with a grim mechanical audit. Was the safety handle functional on the night of December 13th? If the release mechanism was working, it suggests that Dr. Sanchez was either physically unable to operate it or too disoriented to find it in the dark. Furthermore, the focus has turned to store protocols. It is standard procedure for retail staff to conduct a sweep of the building before locking the doors. The fact that a non-employee was able to access a restricted zone and remain there unnoticed for over 12 hours suggests a catastrophic failure in store security. The psychological dimension of the case also became a point of discussion. While the police ruled out foul play, they have not ruled out a sudden, acute medical event. Dr. Sanchez was a physician, highly trained to recognize the signals of the human body. However, the medical community knows that even the most brilliant minds can be sidelined by a sudden stroke, a cardiovascular event, or an unforeseen reaction to medication that causes acute disorientation. As of today, the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office continues to process the toxicology report. These results are the missing witnesses of the case. They will reveal if there was a physiological reason why a heart specialist could no longer find her way out of a simple room. As of December 17, 2025, the case remains an unclassified death. The store has reopened, but the stockroom remains a site of immense scrutiny. The community's response has been a testament to Helen's legacy, with the GoFundMe for her children and repatriation surpassing $13,000. Her story remains a stark reminder that even in the most mundane of places, some mysteries stubbornly resist complete unraveling. We are left with the image of a woman who spent her life keeping the hearts of children beating, only to have her own life silenced in the frozen quiet of a Miami stockroom. The hope remains that the final autopsy will bring clarity to an end that was as cold as it was inexplicable. And as always, you've been watching True Crime Story Vault, where every story is told with facts, empathy, and respect for those who can no longer speak for themselves. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button and comment your thoughts below. Until next time, remember, the truth is never buried.